All right, now you notice we're not in our Nashville studio today. Nick Brake and I jumped on the airplane, got our way to Los Angeles, California. The stage is set. Dogs and Frogs going to be an absolute heavyweight bout. But in games like this, when the stakes are high, when the lights are bright, the quarterbacks always have some kind of key role. So with Stetson Bennett and Max Duggan, two Heisman finalists, two high caliber, high profile, high talent kind of guys, what do they need to do in this game to allow their team to be successful? I think I got a couple of keys that are crucial for success for both guys. Starting with Stetson Bennett, punch the gas pedal, man. Like, this is your chance to go back to back, and they are going to put it in your hands early and often. Against Ohio State, 15 plays. The first 15 plays were scripted, 11 of those were pass plays, which tells me Georgia has the utmost confidence in Stetson Bennett dropping back their quick game, getting the ball out of his hands. This is a game for him where it can't be, let the game come to you, man. Hey, ease into it. He needs to be the aggressor. He needs to be the enforcer, and he needs to make sure he's dialed in and accurate in the early going. Because if they can get that quick game going, if they can cause that TCU box to become a little bit more loose in terms of the safeties triggering and those linebackers getting downhill quickly, if they can slow that down, well, then that running game, like we talked about all week, starts to catch its stride. So they're going to pass to set up the run, but you can only run effectively if you're dialed in, if you punch the gas early, if you're Stetson Bennett. Really quickly, y'all, we're in Los Angeles. Like, y'all did this. We're stoked to be here. Nick Brake and I are the ones that are here, but you are the ones that have allowed us to be here. So if you haven't yet joined the program, subscribe. Also follow me on Instagram and Twitter at JD Piquel. Second key to this game for me, for Stetson Bennett and what he's going to do, I think a lot of it for him is just composure. And not so much for his sake. Like, we've seen Stetson Bennett in big moments. Heck, last week in the college football playoff where he just has to put a game-winning drive together and steady hand the whole way. No flinch the whole way. So he needs to be composed because guess what? His teammates, a lot of those guys on this roster, haven't been in this situation before. This is going to be their first time playing a national title game for a lot of his teammates. And so as the quarterback, guess what, man? You're the tone setter. You're the one that we're looking to when TCU gets in the end zone, when we go down 7-0, if we end up being in that case. I need Stetson Bennett to be the tone setter, be the steady hand, and have his experience pay dividends in terms of just settling everybody in. A lot of people are going to be nervous around you. You can't be one of them. So for Stetson Bennett, punch the gas pedal and let that composure from your experience infiltrate the rest of your team. And just everybody calm down, because you play smooth, usually you play well. Only way you play smooth, no jitters, no nerves, okay? Max Duggan, TCU's quarterback, couple of keys for him. The first one for me is do the legwork, man. Like, your legs have to be a factor in this football game. Got some really good wide receivers. They need to touch the ball early and often. We'll get to that in a second. But we saw Georgia last week. They're going to play a lot of man coverage. Keely Ringo, a lot of guys in that secondary are going to play in the NFL for a long time. But if Max Duggan breaks contain, he breaks the pocket. Listen, man, if he's back there playing Pirates of the Caribbean, guess what that means? His receivers, Quentin Johnston, Tay Barber, Darius Davis, they have more time to run around and get open, and it's just tough to cover those guys for 7 seconds, let alone 3. So doing the legwork, ad-libbing, and having his mobility play a factor, extending plays, that could be the difference maker for TCU. I truly believe that. Second thing, and this might be the most important thing for Max Duggan, got to be dialed in, because Georgia is going to trust their guys to play man coverage. Like that, we've seen that. We saw that against Ohio State. We've seen that throughout the duration of the year. Georgia recruits as well, if not better, than anybody else in the country, and they're going to let their guys play on an island. We like our guys better than your guys, is what Glenn Schumann and Will Muschamp are essentially saying with how they scheme it up. So with that being said, your receivers are going to win some of the time against Georgia. Now, will they win consistently? If they do, whole other conversation. But what I'm trying to tell you is there will be a few opportunities in this game where Max Duggan has to be dialed in and can't miss, especially on the deep throws. Like, if you beat Keely Ringo man-to-man coverage or Quentin Johnston, you got to cash in. We can't have an overthrow. We can't have an underthrow. You got to be locked in the vertical game. So you don't know if you have a ton of those opportunities. So when they're there, when that money's on the table, we say it a lot, make sure you cash in, okay? So for Max Duggan, ad-libbing, dialed in vertically will be crucial to his success. But I'm fired up, man. 2 guys that have led their programs the entire year. Well, Max Duggan actually wasn't in the starter, but eventually took over, led him for the duration of the season. And we're so juiced. We're grateful because y'all made this happen, okay? If you haven't yet subscribed, we'd love to have you. Again, follow me on the socials at JD Piquel. A lot more content coming from LA, all right? This is not the last you'll see of us doing some sort of shot in Los Angeles, at SoFi, whatever it is. Make sure you're locked in with us. Roll Party Roll. So we're gonna keep the party rolling, and we will see y'all next time. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.